Physical space is exactly what it sounds like. It's the art that might hang on the wall. It's the food that people might get. It's the co-working facility, the home office that somebody might be in, the store that somebody's in. All of these things are a part of the physical environment. And the physical space represents 30% of the employee experience. 30%. Now, I want to give you something to think about when it comes to physical space, because a lot of organizations are trying to figure this out now. If you were to write down your values on a sheet of paper, right? Or better yet, if you were to write down some of your superpowers, right? The build, drive, develop, enable, live, and foster. Let's say you had these superpowers or your corporate values put together on a sheet of paper. If you walked around your space, would you see these values come to life? This is what makes organizations unique. Is do the values physically manifest in the spaces in which employees work? Because in the eyes of your employees, your physical space acts as a symbol that represents what your organization stands for. Like any superhero, they have the symbol that represents who they are. Your symbol is the physical space in the eyes of your employees. Now, especially even for frontline employees. Oftentimes people say, well, what do? We have frontline employees. They're not in the corporate location. We can't design beautiful spaces for them. That's true. But you can still think about how to create that better experience for them. For example, one of my favorite stories comes from The Gap. In The Gap, again, employees are working in retail locations around the world. When we see employees who are working frontline, what we start to see is that the customer experience can start to mimic the employee experience. In other words, if you go into a store and it looks like it's falling apart and it's disheveled and the lighting is broken, guess what? That's not just a bad customer experience, that's a bad employee experience too. So in those types of environments, those experiences come together, but you can still even try to come up with creative ways to design that physical space. For example, at The Gap, one of the things that they do is they try to give more autonomy, more control to employees for how they can shape their schedules, for the days that they want to work, for how they show up. They try to give more employees that freedom. Best Buy, another organization, thousands of frontline employees around the world. One of the best ways that they create that experience is they tell employees, we trust you, do what you need to do to create that best customer experience. We're not going to police you. We're not going to enforce everything that you do. When you're in our stores and you're interacting with our customers, we trust you to do what you need to do to take care of our customers. Now, again, it's not specifically related to the building, but it is about that physical space because that is where employees are working and that is where they're interacting and engaging with customers. So the physical space is 30% of the overall employee experience, 30%, and the space should reflect the values of the organization. Hey, it's just a quick reminder to check out my brand new PDF, thefutureemployee.com, which looks at how employees are evolving and changing and what you as an organization need to do to evolve and adapt. You'll get a complete breakdown of what that evolution looks like, as well as action items that you should be taking. It's an invaluable resource and you can grab it at thefutureemployee.com. Again, that's thefutureemployee.com.